take out your highlighters. You can highlight this idea of like radicals. They have to have exactly the same index and same radicand. So I can highlight that too. Inside has to be the same. And you can't add a square root with a cube root. They have to be identical. So when we go to question 1 here, part A. I have 9 root 5s minus 5 root 5s. Are those radicals the same? 5s are the same on the inside. They're both square roots. So I can simplify this to 4 root 5s. So one of the things we're going to notice is we're going to have to often simplify first. In part A, it was already simplified. They were already like radicals. You could move them together. But often we have to simplify first, which means write things as mixed radicals, and then we can combine like radicals after that. And this is like finding, from that activity we did at the beginning, it's like finding what family something belongs to. We learned that square root of 8 was part of the root 2 family, because it was 2 root 2's. So this idea of simplifying is finding what family something belongs to. So then in part B here, step 1 is figuring out, can I simplify the square root of 24? And I'm going to show all my work. Sometimes people skip a step, which is okay as long as you don't make a mental math mistake. Okay? But it's often really easy to make some mental math mistakes in this. So I'm doing cube roots. So I think about my powers chart and my powers of 3. 24. Is there a power of 3 that breaks up 24? Yes, it's 8 times 3. Minus cube root. 192. This one you might need to go to your calculator. Does 192 divide by 8? I go to check it out. 192 divided by 8? 24. Does it divide by any bigger one? So here, I'll pull up my calculator on here. So 192 divides by 8. That's a cube. 192 does not divide by 27. That's also a perfect cube. 192, 4 cubed is 64. It also divides by 64. So we have an option. If you chose 8, you would do 8 and 24, but you wouldn't be done because 24 can still be done again. So maybe, you know what, I'm going to just, don't write this down. But if you had square cube root of 192, you could either break it up with 8 and 24, or you could break it up with 64 and 3. The nice thing about picking the biggest one is you're done right away. This is going to be, my recommendation is to be going to be using the 64 and 3. But sometimes we don't see the bigger one. So if you did this one, you would get 2 cube root of 24, and then 24 can still be broken up by 8. And the cube root of 8 is 2, so when I bring out another 2 in front, I still get 4 cube root of 3. So when we're looking at our powers chart and figuring out a cube that can divide something, sometimes you find a smaller one before you find the biggest one. So every time that you're simplifying, you have to, after simplifying, check your new number inside and say, could I keep going? Am I in lowest terms already or not? And with the 24, you could keep going. Obviously, with the 3, you could not. All right, I'm going to erase this off the side now. And then the cube root of 375 125 times 3. So in our powers chart, 5 cubed is 125. This allows us to say, I know the cube root of 8 is 2, so this becomes 2 cube roots of 3. I know the cube root of 64 is 4, so this becomes 4 cube roots of 3. And the cube root of 125 is 5, so this becomes 5 cube roots of 3. Now they are like radicals, so we can put them together, and we get -7 cube roots of 3. And for part C, now we're dealing with square roots. So square root of 63, 9 times 7, plus square root of 40, 4 times 10, minus square root of 90, 9 times 10, and then finally plus, minus the square root of 28, and 28, 4 times 7. Sometimes these kind of give you hints. You see how there's a 7, and you see how there's a 10? If there's going to be like radicals, you would expect some to be the same. So there could be something you can look for like as a hint. It doesn't have to work out. You could do this whole question and have nothing be able to simplify, but it is a math textbook, so they like to give you practice where you can actually simplify things. So since I know the square root of 9 is 3, I can change this to 3 root 7. I know the square root of 4 is 2, so I can change this to 2 root 10. Minus 3 root 10. Minus 2 root 7. The 3 root 7 and the minus 2 root 7 are like radicals. They can be combined to just be 1 root 7. You can write the 1 out in front, but you don't need to. The 2 root 10s and the minus 3 root 10s are like radicals. They can be combined to minus 1 root 10. Again, you don't need to write the 1 out in front. And this is simplified completely. So circle questions 3, 4, and 9.